This podcast is brought to you by Molten Balls, official ball of the UPSL. Hey footy fans, I'm Dennis Pope and you're back with the UPSL Podcast. I'm here with Art Eftikari and we're back with episode 10. That's right, we've been here for 10 episodes already. This week we're going to talk about the OCFC 2 game versus La Máquina. And we're going to talk about LA Wolves versus OC Victa. It was a crazy, crazy game. And then there was an article recently in the Soccer Clubhouse about GAM United, one of the newest UPSL Colorado teams. We'll take a look at that article and we'll talk about that. And then we'll look into your comments from Twitter. All this and more on this episode of the UPSL Podcast.
This is Paul Caligiuri, and you're listening to the UPSL Podcast.
Hey everybody, we're back. And first we're going to talk about the OCFC versus La Máquina game. Art was there, and Art, I heard it was a really good comeback for OCFC. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, it was a really good game, and OCFC 2 started off as the better team. They were creating chances really quickly after the kickoff. Dakota Collins playing up front as a lone striker. Had a chance early on. He was denied by keeper Miguel Marin. Very nice save. And then with the physical play and excellent pace, it was La Máquina who actually took control in the first half. They took a 1-0 lead off a nice through ball. Willie Morse put them in the lead in the 24th minute. At times it looked like OCFC 2 was a little frustrated, but one thing about OCFC 2 head coach Paul Caligiuri, really known for his in-game adjustments, rearranging his personnel. Second half, OCFC 2 really was awesome. And Dakota Collins was actually switched to a winger position that really opened things up. And 3 goals in the second half. 2 of them scored by Johnny Romero. Last one scored by Brazilian striker Guilherme. So, really exciting game. It was a hard-fought victory. And right now, OCFC 2 is the hottest team in the UPSL Pro Premier with 6 consecutive wins. So, they're really having a great season. It's really exciting.
That's right. They have won 6 in a row. And that puts them in second place in the Pro Premier Division Western Conference, right behind OC and Victa. How do you see the rest of the season shaking out now?
They're going to have some tough games. As you know, in the Pro Premier, there's hardly any easy games. So it's all about just, going to each game with the game plan and just executing. And I think they just got to keep on doing what they're doing. And I think they'll be ready for the playoffs when that time comes.
And Johnny Romero, he was a player of the week earlier this season, a national player of the week for the UPSL. He scored on a free kick, am I right?
Free kick, yeah, in the 84th minute. And Johnny Romero, curved it over the wall pretty much, like a pro. It was awesome. Well, excellent free kick.
Looked like it was probably the cherry on top of their cake, yeah?
Yeah, I would say so. But Guilherme adding the third goal to make it 3-1, that just sealed the deal.
So it sounds like Dakota Collins has turned into a real spark plug for OCFC.
He definitely has. He's already scored 8 goals for OCFC. The game against La Máquina, he actually didn't score, but he still was at the forefront of that first goal. He was creating plays. He has a lot of speed. He's a very good soccer player. He's even played in Croatia and in Austria. And he's also played for Sacramento Republic of the United Soccer League. So for him to be on OCFC, that really is great for them. And I think it's really just making them that much better of a team since he's joined them.
All right, and when we come back, we'll talk about the LA Wolves versus OC and Victa game.
This is Dmitry Zhuravlev, forward for LA Wolves, and you're listening to the UPSL Podcast.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the UPSL Podcast. Our next topic, OC and Victa against LA Wolves. And Dennis, you were at that game, but before we begin talking about this game, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this a situation of a Wolves versus Wolves? And I'm talking about how you have a lot of players on Invicta that were members of the LA Wolves in the 2017 spring UPSL season.
Yeah, including Paulo Cardozo, who scored the first goal versus Wolves last night. He was the 2017 MVP during the spring season for Wolves as they won that championship. Yeah, lots of former Wolves players. Chris Clutie in defense for OC Invicta. Paulo Cardozo, like I mentioned. Pablo Cruz. Miguel up top, who was a big force for the Wolves last season. Miguel Sanchez, right, was that player. So, yeah, it was a lot of familiar faces seeing out there against Wolves on Sunday night. And Invicta, they play with the same energy that you saw Wolves play with last year. They pressured the ball, and they came away with a turnover, and they play extremely physical, which creates opportunities. At one point, very early in the game, in about the 8th or 9th minute, Wolves star left mid, Herman Alfaro, went down with a shoulder injury, and while he was being assessed on the sidelines, OC Invicta took advantage, and they got a loose ball in front of the goal, and Paulo Cardozo finished it off for the game, essentially the game winner. Wolves tried to play it calm and play it straight the first few minutes, but once the physicality of Invicta took shape in the game, I don't think Wolves was quite prepared for that. It was clear that Invicta was a more experienced side overall than Wolves were, and I mean that's a credit to the Wolves organization, Jan Squara, really, to prepare them to this point. But Augie Rodriguez does a good job coaching Invicta, and they were prepared to face the Wolves. They came out and scored the goal, and they defended that goal, and then they came out and they got the second one in the second half to put the game away. But extremely physical game, like the LAMAC versus OCFC game, except the current version of the Wolves were taking the brunt of the physicality. Like I mentioned, Herman Alfaro went down with a shoulder injury. Luis Mora, who plays an attacking position for Wolves, went down with an ankle injury. Henry Escobar, who plays a wing position for the Wolves, went down with an injury. And so it'll be interesting to see how those injuries affect the rest of the Wolves season. They now drop into third place in the Pro Premier Western Division, out of the automatic bye for the first round of the playoffs, and so they're going to have to scrap and fight these last 3 weeks. And I think most importantly from the game on Sunday night is a learning experience for the Wolves. They had opportunities. Dmitry Zhurlev had 2 opportunities in front of goal. He could have very easily earned a penalty in the first half. And who knows, he earns that penalty, they score that goal, they tie the game, changes the outlook of the game entirely, and perhaps the Wolves go on to win or at least earn a point. But as it is, they lose their first game against OC Invicta, and they're going to have to regroup. It's the first loss of the fall for Wolves, and they're not used to losing. So it'll be an interesting week to see how they regroup, to see how Herman and Henry rebound from those injuries, and to see what kind of team they come back with this next week.
And you mentioned physical play. We know that in the UPSL, there's plenty of teams who have players that just really want to win very, very badly. And, staying on topic with the physical play, is it safe to say that do we have another rivalry forming here in the UPSL Pro Premier?
This could very quickly become a rivalry. Another game of this physicality and this level will definitely probably start to breed some hard feelings. With as many players as the Wolves could potentially lose from this game, I could very easily see some bad feelings developing and a rivalry develop very, very quickly.
Okay, I'm putting this out there right now. Is OC Invicta the clear favorite to win the 2017 UPSL fall season?
Well, that's a big step to take, but they are the lone unbeaten in the Pro Premier Western Conference, and they have the championship caliber from the spring season with the Wolves. No other team can boast that. So yes, OC Invicta are the favorites right now, I think, in the clubhouse.
We're taking a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking GAM United out of Colorado.
Do you want to advertise with the fastest growing pro development league in the country? Advertise with the UPSL. You'll reach more than 70 different soccer markets in more than 20 different states. For more information, go to upslsoccer.com or follow UPSL on Twitter at UPSL Soccer.
Okay, it's about GAM time. we got UPSL news out of Colorado. GAM United were recently crowned champions of the UPSL Colorado Championship Division. And Dennis, seems like you encountered a really great article on the World Wide Web.
Yeah, that's right. There's an article at the Soccer Clubhouse by Alex DeJournette about GAM United's promotion side, and it centers around one of their best players, Michael Sarpong, who's a former Ghanaian international. Looks like Alex sat down with Michael for a few questions, and Michael goes into his past, and Michael shares his thoughts on GAM United getting promoted to the Colorado Conference Pro Premier Division next season. Michael goes on to say the UPSL is a very competitive league that is rapidly growing because it's exciting and joyful to watch, and he truly believes that the UPSL is going to produce some talents that are going to succeed across the world. What do you think about that, Art?
You know, it's great for them as a club. They get promoted to the next level. It's something that they could build on. And, you know, if I was a member of GAM United, I feel like the best chant before a game would be like, you know, hey, come on, it's GAM time.
It's GAM time. Hoof. And Michael talks more about, you know, their success this season and how he sees his role within the team. It's a really interesting article by Alex, and anybody who gets a chance should go ahead and read it. It's at thesoccerclubhouse.com, and you can find the Soccer Clubhouse on Twitter at the Soccer Clubhouse. They have more articles there about UPSL Colorado-based teams. And Michael is a shining example of what can happen if you put together a few good players, and you have the right team spirit in Colorado or any place. You guys can get promoted. That's what the UPSL is about. You start off in the championship division, you work your way up, you earn promotion, and you find your way, you find your level. So kudos to Alex for writing the article. Kudos to GAM United on earning promotion.
And when we come back, we'll answer your questions on Twitter.
Real quick before we go, we got a couple of comments on Twitter over the last couple of weeks, and we're going to share with you the two best. First one's from Lou Tasso at Tasso623. After the UPSL added Real Medina in Colorado a couple weeks ago, Lou said, "This is how soccer in the USA will be rebuilt. MLS is the Monsanto of soccer. It tries to come off as sounding good, but killing everything in the end. UPSL will be the future of soccer. No empty 25,000 seat stadiums, just 1 to 10,000 fans at games and affordable clubs." What do you think about that, Art?
I like that comment a lot. I really think it's great. A lot of people who are really big on soccer at the grassroots level could really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it's a sentiment a lot of lower division teams can share. They're tired of the old business model. They got new ideas, new plans, and soccer's going to be rebuilt from the grassroots, no doubt about it.
And the last comment is from Dennis Hernandez, replying to Lou Tasso's comment, who had this to say: "Would love to see all amateur clubs unify for a new pyramid, with amateur leagues competing against one another, in parentheses, UPSL, CSL, and others such as PDL, NPSL, serving as NCAA summer leagues. The bottom of our current pyramid is almost as chaotic as the top."
There really is a lot going on in the lower divisions, and with the lawsuit and all that's happening at the top with MLS and the North American Soccer League and the United States Soccer Federation presidency, there's a lot of movement taking shape right now in the U.S. soccer scene. Is a pyramid the ultimate goal of American soccer? A lot of people would like to say so, including a lot of people within the UPSL. The pyramid is the shape that takes place around the world for these clubs, with relegation providing that motivation at the bottom of the table, just the same as promotion provides at the top of the table. Just think, the potential of a UPSL club rising up the pyramid, potentially one day playing in the USL or whatever league that turns out to be at the top of the pyramid. I think that's a dream that a lot of people share.
Okay, everybody, and that is it for this edition of the UPSL Podcast. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.